Blackberry winter is an Appalachian saying that my mamas and papas always said. It refers to a short period of cold weather in late spring, and it happens right when the blackberries are blooming. I am Terry Crawford Brown. I am from Richlands, Virginia, which is in Southwest Virginia, and that is in the Appalachian Mountain Range, and I am the CEO and president of Blackberry Winter, a nonprofit I created 4 years ago. It's always been a concern for me that when I needed a new refrigerator and I would buy a new one, but nothing was really wrong with my old one other than maybe it was the wrong color, how to get that to someone who needed it. There wasn't an answer to that question, but I actually got moved to make action when my husband and I had went to an estate sale, and they had sold a whole house of furniture for about $500. And I came to work the next morning, and the security guard who I'd worked with for 20 years, home had burnt. And I thought if I had known Saturday, I could have furnished his home for $500. So that thought that I want to have a space when I find things like that, or my family and friends have excess, they'll have a place to put it, and then when someone needs it, I'll give it to them.
There are lots of things that go into making the Blackberry Winter machine work. So people can, of course, donate funds, but also it's donating their gently used household items that could be reused for someone who's starting over, or actually purchasing the items that we provide to families. For instance, beds, mattresses, plates, dinnerware, things like that. And how the machine works is actually the whole community really just comes together. People have things to donate that are gently used, or they want to provide, a cash donation, or they want to provide something that's new and have it sent to us so that we can store it and then provide it to the family in need.
So I got to know Terry Brown when I was on the executive board of the Clinch Valley Medical Center Hospital. So when I heard Blackberry Winter, I was like, what is Blackberry Winter? I'd heard, my parents, my grandparents talk about Blackberry Winter. And so I inquired, I said, Terry, what is this? And she said, well, Travis, this is simply helping those that's going through a cold snap in their life. And it's non-judgmental. And we provide beds, we provide furniture, we provide food, anything that they need, we try to help them do that. And I was amazed. I said, well, tell me more. And she told me about some of the instances where that a couple's home would burn down, or someone maybe would get out of jail or prison, and they was trying to get back on their feet, and she would find out that they didn't have a bed. Maybe their children was sleeping on the floor. And she would just tell a coworker or a friend, and quickly it just spread around the community. And anybody that had any furniture, and sometimes they would even go buy like blankets or silverware, anything. And the concept I thought was just so cool to call it Blackberry Winter. Terry's just a wonderful person. She is you can't help but feel the enthusiasm that she has when she's talking about this.
We all need help. And none of us deserve to feel guilty for needing help. So it doesn't matter why you need help. There is no judgment for that. We just give you help. I don't give anything I wouldn't have in my home. And I think they're already having a hard time. They deserve to have quality items given to them. And not to say that my couch doesn't have stains on it or a small tear or something, but I don't want them, because they have nothing, to feel like anything is all right. I want them to feel like they're worthy. And the thing I say all the time is no guilt required. You don't have to feel guilty for needing help.
It's a local charity organization by wonderful people that you basically pick up the phone call, and sometimes that very day, within hours, they take care of your need. And it's just so heartwarming to see our community gathering around this.
So Blackberry Winter is in my home community of Western Virginia in the Appalachian Mountain Range. So we serve Tazewell County, Russell County, Buchanan County, all the surrounding counties. But it operates out of rented storage units. So we don't have necessarily a headquarters, and you can have a Blackberry Winter in any community, and I believe every community needs a Blackberry Winter.
So Blackberry Winter is a success in Southwest Virginia because we do help one another out. Whenever a neighbor is in need, we're right there, no questions asked. And that's what the organization is about too. It's 100% volunteer. So everyone, neighbors helping out neighbors and everyone coming together for a collective common good. That's what Blackberry Winter is really about.
Appalachians are not the stereotypical hillbilly, persona that gets presented. Appalachians are very hardworking people, and we take care of our neighbors. And I'm always so proud of the volunteers, but also the people we help. You want to think that sometimes people that need help are takers. They're not. I can't get them to take what they need. They'll want one spoon and one bowl. And I'll say, you can have a set of dishes, and they'll think, well, someone else needs it. They're just people who want to help one another and not take more than their share. That is the core of what Appalachia is.
My name is Shanna Plaster, and I'm an on-site coordinator for communities and schools, and I'm also the Northwestern District Supervisor for Tazewell County. Blackberry Winter is very important to what I do because we try to help kids reduce the barriers that they have for learning, and I can't tell you how many beds that we have been able to give kids through Blackberry Winter. We had a couple of new students that moved to the area that didn't have beds. I was able to get them beds that week. They didn't even have a couch or a refrigerator. We were able to find all of that.
Kids in our community do not deserve to sleep on the floor. Kids can't be all right on the floor. They can't feel loved or cared for or learn or grow. I give them a new bed with new sheets, new blankets, new pillows. I want them to know that their community cares. And I don't think a kid can feel that sleeping on the floor.
In Richlands, we had a big flood in 2020, and I had a family that had pretty much lost everything. I was able to get them some dressers, bedding, a couple of beds for the kids, and I think Terry delivered herself a hot water heater and maybe a washer and dryer. And those kids' lives were completely impacted. They went from having nothing, sleeping on a plywood floor that had just been rebuilt, to having a nice, warm, comfortable bed to sleep in, and their clothes washed, and able to take a bath, which they had to go to a church to take a bath for about a month. My community is on the rebound. I think we had a rough time when the coal industry went out, and I think people either moved out of town to find jobs, and we had a lot of people who just felt lost and ended up with drug addictions and alcohol addictions. But however, I feel like our community is very supportive. I feel like we have a great group of people that are there to help and try to motivate people out of that. We will have a different Tazewell County in a couple of years, I'm hoping, but we have really struggled through the last couple of years. But our strength is that we do care, and that people are willing to provide new starts, and we're not judgmental, but we want people to have the best life that they can in Tazewell County.
Blackberry Winter helps a population of people that every community has. It isn't something that's specific to Appalachia. New York City, California, every place has people that lose their home to fire, that lose their job to illness and lose everything, that have addiction, that go to prison. So in every community you have people that have an excess, not meaning they have just the rich of the community, but just the middle class, you you buy a new couch, and you don't know what to do with the other one. And so Blackberry Winter serves the community here in Appalachia, but it would work in any community, that when someone loses their home to fire or flood, or then when the people that have the excess has that in storage, and you give it to the ones who then don't have anything.
I'm Debbie Artrip. I work at Clinch Valley Medical Center, and I help with Blackberry Winter by volunteer my time and donations. We are at Cedar Bluff. We're in the storage building beside of the Cedar Bluff Elementary School. People donate the buildings for us to be able to store the stuff in, to make it easy for people who need things to come and get them. We need these storage buildings to put all of our supplies, like the cooking supplies, our bedding supplies, mattresses, furniture that's donated. They're individualized so that we know what's in each one. Everything's not together, they're kind of separated. There's how many? There's hundreds of, at least 100, more than 100 probably, that volunteers their time to organize, and there's at least 10 on a day that you need to load the trucks, and you know, they ask the people who are getting the stuff to come here to pick it up, but in turn the people that volunteer have to have it all organized and all the stuff ready for them to get when they get here.
We have furnished 397 homes, give over 500 kids beds, and I feel confident that each one of those family members and each one of those children's lives were made easier and improved by Blackberry Winter. But we give them the help, and then we're moved on to the next family. So what I can say for sure is, for the volunteers, Blackberry Winter has proven to all of us that our communities aren't as divided as we are told that we are. That when people in our community need help, we meet the need. Blackberry Winter proves to me that people are good. Whenever I feel like the need is so big and how are we going to meet it and what are we going to do, it's always met. Like, people give until it makes me uncomfortable. And it's renewed my belief in humans, and that we do want to help one another.
Terry Brown and Blackberry Winter are there to help you, no matter your age or your condition. It's to help others, and I can't think of a nobler cause. Another way that has helped our community and the larger community is connecting people who want to do good for others but don't know exactly how to do it. And this has become a common denominator for the people of this community who want to feel a part of something. This is a group of the human heart, and they're here to help people in a myriad of ways, be it donating stoves or refrigerators, or getting the goods to them, physical goods, or just love. People need love, and they need to be appreciated and felt worthy. And I think that Blackberry Winter has achieved this and continues to achieve it. Blackberry Winter has brought people together, not only those in need, but those people who have a need in their life to help others. And it combines people in this spirit. I call it something spiritual. It is the spirit of humanity. And it could be Christian teaching, it could be any religion. It's the spirit of helping others that brings us all together. And it's brought this community together. I've witnessed it. People helping in whatever way that they can, but it's genuinely making them feel a part of something greater than all of us.
We had a lady one day helping me, and she was on parole, and she was serving some of her community service with me, helping families with Blackberry Winter. And when we got done, she said, "I've never been the one that gave help. I've always been the one needing help." And she said, "I don't want to be on that end. This end feels better."
It's so healing for the human soul to help your neighbor. And the church has found out that that is through giving. And in my own personal life, I have found that healing comes through helping others heal. When you can reach out and help other people, it just brings that joy. It brings that peace in your heart. It just revives you to keep going. It's a purpose in life, that it's not just self, but it's others. Jordan's Chapel has a church that loves to give to the community and to help other people. We particularly love to help Blackberry Winter. And the reason we do that is we see the results. We know the results we give. You know, when people are giving of their time or giving of their money or energy, it's so important to know it made a difference, and it makes a difference with Blackberry Winter. Terry always lets us know the people, how many people she helped, and how important the little gifts that we have and what a difference they make in other people's lives.
I think every person comes with a purpose in life, and that purpose will always be in serving others. You will never find your purpose serving yourself.
Blackberry Winter helps everyone in the community. Of course, the ones who are going through a cold snap in their life, but it helps the volunteers too. It helps not only the volunteers on the ground doing the legwork, but also the people who are donating items. It's a place where they can donate items and they know it's going to be used for good. The whole community is coming together. The whole community is being benefited by Blackberry Winter.
We had a family that we were asked to furnish a home for through Cumberland Mountain Community Services. And I got to the building, and the volunteers and the workers were there, and we were getting all the things together. And there was a young man that came up to me, and he said, "Do you remember me?" And I said, "No, we go to school together?" And he said, "No, ma'am, you furnished my home when I got out of prison." And I said, "Okay, well, how are you?" And he said, I'm so good. Like, y'all made me have a home to be able to come to and a bed to sleep in." But it just proved to me that you aren't your circumstances. That Blackberry Winter has the ability to heal people because they see that their community isn't judging them, they're pulling for them. And I think a lot of people who have lost things to addiction or lost things to imprisonment or whatever reason, they don't believe that they're worthy or that the community and the people around them think they are. And I think Blackberry Winter in that man's circumstance really showed me it isn't so much the bed we gave, it was the belief in him and that he was worth it and that his community was pulling for him.
Drug addiction is a very terrible disease, and a lot of people disagree that it's a disease. And it takes control of your mind, and then it takes control of your body, and it destroys relationships with your parents, your loved ones, and it never brings anything good. I had 2 young children. I thought I could get on drugs, and I got addicted to methamphetamine. I thought that I could take it and I would get energy to raise my kids, and I could stay up with them all day, and I could stay up all night cleaning. It just got really bad, and ended up going to jail, getting charges, losing my kids. My freedom got took away from me. My children got took away from me. Everything I owned got taken away from me. Every time I'd get out of jail, I would relapse. Then I went back to jail the final time, and I went into a sober living house. It's Hearts and Horizons sober living house in Tazewell. And I lived there for a year, got my life back together, I got clean. Blackberry Winter was there for me when I wouldn't have had anything for my apartment if it hadn't been for them. Because of Blackberry Winter, I was able to come home from work knowing that I had a bed to sleep in, that I had somewhere to put my food. I could have a safe, comfortable home to come home to. Confidence and stability has absolutely been a part of my story from the very beginning. I had to be confident in every part of my life to be able to maintain my recovery. Blackberry Winter definitely was a part of that.
I sometimes get questioned of Blackberry Winter providing help to people who are struggling with addiction. As a healthcare professional, I realize it takes multiple times to overcome an addiction. And when I'm asked those questions, say it takes 10 times on average to overcome an alcohol addiction or whatever they're fighting. If Blackberry Winter is their 3rd time, their 3rd try, they don't get to 10 without 3. So I don't ever look at it as a failure if they fall back into addiction or whatever happens. Maybe we were their 3rd time. And I decided when I started this that if we stop one family from burying their kid. That's good enough for me. Like, we'll keep doing this for that one family, because I think we've saved more than that. I think we've made a difference in a lot more people's lives than that.
Terry's greatest strength is loving kindness, non-judgmental loving kindness.
Terry Crawford Brown is a very intense person. She's very focused, and she is just, when she puts her mind to do something, it gets done.
Terry Crawford Brown has the biggest heart and the warmest soul. And when I first met her, I immediately loved her. And it was her compassion, it was her giving. I knew her as a nurse and then through Blackberry Winter as well. But to see how she cares for other people and see how she seeks and searches to help other souls, that's my kind of person. I just want to be connected with her and do all that I can to encourage her and support her in everything that she does.
Terry's greatest strength is her vision, her energy that she can use for the benefit of other people.
If I had to say what my superpower is, it is that I am stubborn, extremely determined, at times hard-headed. If I think something is worthy and I'm going to put my energy and effort into it, I am stubborn and determined until it is done.
Well, I've known Terry since high school, and Terry came from Jewel Ridge, a little community on the mountain, and they have a sense of community like I believe nowhere else in the world, and they still have that. The kids in high school who came from Jewel Ridge always had each other's back. They were like brothers and sisters, whether there were any relationship at all. You didn't mess with one of them or you were messing with the whole crew, but they all kind of stuck together and watched out for each other.
I come from a family of public servants. My father was a minister, and my mom and dad always had foster kids my whole life. I was always raised with a lot of foster children in my life, and my mom's a teacher. And so our whole life was based on service and helping one another, which isn't unique to just my family. It is an Appalachian culture that you help one another. The most significant person that influenced me most in my life was my grandmother. Her name was Dorothy Cole. She was one of 18 kids, and she didn't have any education. She only went through the 2nd grade. She told me she knew when she had children that they needed to go to church and they needed to go to school, that would change their lives. And so her kids did all go to school, and she did change the trajectory of all of our lives. She always told me how smart I was, how beautiful I was. She never allowed any kind of language around limitation. Like, she made a difference in all of our lives, and we all have went out and helped other people. So my mama died in May, so a couple months ago, and it was right before she died, and she said, life isn't easy when you're 6 and you're given away. Mama was not treated kindly in her life, ever, as a child. She wasn't shown love, or she was made to quit school to work. And that's the only time I ever heard her say about her life being hard. But she lost 3 sons, she lost my papa, but she said that day. And she said she wanted to show more kindness to people than they had shown to her. She changed the world through me. She changed the world through each one of us. That she instilled love in us, and that we take care of ourselves and we take care of others. She inspired me, and I got to talk to her a few months before she died about Blackberry Winter. And she told me, she said, it makes me feel like I did help by raising you and you going forward and doing that. And to me, I mean, that's the best thing she could have ever said to me, is like, I made her proud. I give a lot of time and thought to what I would want my legacy to be in my life. And I want my legacy to be in my family and in my community, and the people I took care of as a nurse, that I cared about them. And I hope when people think of me at the end of my life and look back that will be the thing they say, is that I loved them and didn't judge them and helped them if I could.
On my last day on earth, and I could say but one thing to Terry, I would say keep the faith.
If I could say one last thing to Terry, and it would be the last thing I would ever say to her, I would tell her that I think that she is the greatest woman that I know. I respect her so much.
Thank you. Thank you for helping our community. Thank you for being there for people when you didn't have to, but you seen the need and you did it.
Well, I would just say, Terry, I appreciate what you've done for our community, and I appreciate you so much and your willingness to help. A lot of people will sit back and have great ideas, but they're not willing to step out on it, and I cannot thank you enough.
It would be thank you and I love you.